Hello once again and welcome to another episode of Euroman Movie Report. Now, Season 5. This week I'm gonna review for you Total Recall. Total Recall, as you of course know, is based upon a short story by sci-fi author Philip K. Dick, and his story was called We Can Remember It For You on Wholesale, which tells the story about this factory worker Douglas Quayle, who has these dreams about being on Mars, and he goes to this place to get some fake memories about being some sort of resistance fighter on Mars. And the whole duality of the plot is that the stuff he experiences in the movie or in Philip K. Dick's story, is that real or is that made by the fake memories in his head? Yeah, and I haven't read Philip K. Dick's short story, but I might consider reading it sometime in the future. But anyway, in 1990, Paul Verhoeven, he made a movie out of Philip K. Dick's short story and named it Total Recall. And in the lead role we had Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I must say, after having watched the 2012 version, starring Colin Farrell instead of Arnold Schwarzenegger, I must say that the whole story, as I said, I have read that it's supposed to take place on Mars, and I don't understand why they changed it and constructed this bullshit version of the old movie, where instead of it taking place on Mars, it takes place on these two nations. One is the United States of Britain, if I remember correctly, and the other one is called the Colony, and that's supposedly the only places left where you can live, because there have been some sort of war with chemical weapons, and yeah. And then they have this integrated transport system which allows you to travel inside the Earth to the Colony. And I don't understand why, if they were able to build this integrated transport system, and why they weren't able to clean up the atmosphere. And that's one of the many problems I have with the 2012 Total Recall story. And besides from it not taking place on Mars. And yeah, it's a fairly thin story compared to the original. They replaced this drive for this metal on Mars with, and here's a spoiler, in this Total Recall 2012 version, this madman leader of the United States of Britain, Cohagen, he wants to murder all the people in the former Australia and replace them with robots. And that's a very thin story, and I don't know how they came up with that. Maybe the script authors sat down and were together with the director and drank a bottle of whiskey and said, "Oh, how are we going to change this story? Because we can't have the same basic elements of the 1990 story, because then blah 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 blah." And I must say, the 2012 version here, it had some great effects. And yeah, and of course it had Kate Beckinsale and Jessica Biel, and those girls made this Total Recall worth watching, because if they hadn't inserted those girls into Total Recall, then the movie would have been unwatchable, because it stinks, in my opinion. Because if you look at it from perspective, why would the Chancellor of the United States of Britain want to kill the population of the Colony? Because that's the only place that the United States of Britain could trade with. Why do it doesn't make sense why he would want to have them killed. And then of course there's the whole resistance led by Bill Nighty. And Bill Nighty is a great actor, and why he only got 5 minutes of screen time, that's beyond me. They build up this whole resistance thing, and then they used 5 minutes on it and then throw it away. And the whole movie is about basically it reminds me a bit of a Roadrunner cartoon where we have Colin Farrell and Jessica Biel running around in all these different locations with Kate Beckinsale and her toaster army chasing them. That's simply silly in my opinion. And even more than 50 ass shots of Jessica Biel and Kate Beckinsale doesn't make up for that. This Total Recall is, in my opinion, story-wise, not effects-wise, because it had some great special effects compared to the 1990 version, but story-wise, Total Recall 2012 is a piece of shit, and that's not saying much. And I was very disappointed, and personally I hope that someone in the future would remake Total Recall in the image of the original story, because it was cool, it had some good one-liners, and they tried to make it into, with this version, into some sort of, if they had the Minority Report and all those other bad government chasing you type of movies. And that was a bit silly, because that's not how the 1990 version was, and from what I have read from Philip K. Dick's story, that wasn't what he intended either. So this movie sucks. And if I'm gonna rate this film, if it hadn't contained Kate Beckinsale and Jessica Biel, I would have given it 1 out of 5 Coca-Cola bottles. But those girls being in this movie makes up a whole lot for a mediocre story. So if I'm gonna rate it, I would say 3 out of 5 Coca-Cola bottles. And that's it. Euroman's movie report. Signing off, and wishing every one of my viewers a pleasant weekend. I will return next week with a review of The Bourne Legacy. And I must say I'm fairly looking forward to seeing The Bourne Legacy. It sucks a bit that Matt Damon isn't in this Bourne film, but the premise looks good, and we will see how good it is. And bye for now.